Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We hope it is good. Welcome to another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I am Ray Carsillo in basically on fire, California. Over in Philadelphia, my best friend in the entire world, Lee Elias. Lee, how are you doing, buddy?
It's 95 degrees here too, Ray. It's just that time of the year where it gets really, really hot and everybody complains and the world's falling apart and then the elections are going to happen and then it'll be cold and then it's going to be, that's too cold. It's too cold. Who cares that we have like gigantic hurricanes just sweeping across the Caribbean, a clear sign that things are not okay. But that's not what we're doing here today, Ray. We don't want people to click off. Ray, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I got a great lead off to this episode. I've got a great DoorDash Dash of the week for you to participate in. Now, listen, I'm going to up the ante a little bit with this one this week. I'm not going to just go for a normal, hey, here's a couple pieces of food from a restaurant, 20 minutes, whatever, it's here.
Yeah.
I'm going bigger today. Our friends from Nothing Bundt Cakes. Have you heard of this place?
I think so, yes.
Chain restaurant. Our friends saw last week's DoorDash Dash of the week. And they've asked me to do a DoorDash Dash of the week with them. So, Ray, this is going to be it. I already have the order set up here. I'm going to tell everybody what we're doing on this DoorDash thing. Okay? Because if I say the week too many times, you're going to want to kill me.
People,
yeah. Okay, it's already set up. All right? And here's the deal. I'm gonna press the order button here. I've already saved it. I have to say this. I'm getting a box of Bundtinis. So it's an assorted bit of Bundtinis. They're delicious. I love them.
Those are like tiny buns?
Yeah, they're the perfect size dessert. Right. The problem with the full bunt is you always eat too much. That's not their problem. That's my problem. And then there's the buntlets, which are good, but then you have to eat the whole buntlet. People will say you don't, but you do. So the Bundtinis are good. The question is, can you have just one? Right. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But I figured I'm going to treat the office today to a box of Bundtinis, the signature assortment. And I got to say this, but I'm saving $18.40 with Dash Pass. I got $8 off the order. It's a discount. And then they waived all the fees. So this actually becomes somewhat affordable. I don't know how much Nothing Bundt Cakes has to do with that, but thank you guys over there at DoorDash and Nothing Bundt Cakes. But Ray, I'm going to do it. It says right now, 33 to 48 minutes. As expected, this is going to be a little bit of a longer delivery period because we're not.
Well, we're still going to be talking, so that's fine.
Well, I figured if we're not done, we had a problem. All right, so here we go. I'm going to hit the place order button right now. All right.
Okay.
It's coming here. It's submitting the order. Right. Wait, don't and processing the order. We'll start the clock once I see the thing change from the processing order to there it is. Starts the clock.
Got it. Clock started.
Arrives between, it is now 4:03 p.m. recording this. It's going to arrive between 4:39 p.m. and 4:54 p.m. And our last two DoorDash Dash of the weeks.
Yes.
It is hit right in the middle both times.
Yeah.
So
yes, that's saying what, 36 to 51 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So Nothing Bundt Cakes.
Nothing Bundt Cakes.
With the final boss. No, it's like the right thing to say. Nothing Bundt Cakes and DoorDash are colliding this week in our DoorDash Dash of the week. Let's see what happens here. This is a big one, Ray. This is the big one.
This is the big one. This could be it, folks. This could. You think this could lead to somebody like a sponsorship? I mean, at least you're getting fees waived on cakes and stuff. But I can't.
Well, I'm getting the cake too. I mean, that's
you're getting the cake, but I would like cake.
Well, Ray, we can make that happen anytime you want.
I'm not going to fly to Philadelphia for cake.
Yes, you would.
Maybe.
Yes, you would. Let's just be honest about this. If I said, "Hey, look, this is the greatest cake that has ever existed," you would think about it.
I would think about it.
And Ray, not only that, as a perfect segue, if I offered you the best cake ever, which Nothing Bundt Cakes really does make, and tickets to the Yankees Phillies games at Citizens Bank Park in a few weeks, you might not just consider that, Ray. That might happen. I'm putting that out there. I'm putting it out there in the universe. I'm not saying it's going to happen, people. I don't want to put any pressure on my friend, but God damn it, Ray, I want to put pressure on my friend. Great cake, great baseball because the Phillies are playing. You don't disagree with that right now. And time with your best friend, our producers, Savi and Caitlin, and I'll be there too.
Well, I'll have to think about it. I will stay tuned, folks. I will let you know if I make a return trip to the East Coast for a few days at the end of July.
Can't say Philadelphia. Got to say the East Coast. Ray, it's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Because I'm not from Philly. I'm from Jersey.
Well, you don't say I'm going back to the East Coast when you go to Jersey. You say I'm going to Jersey.
Well, yeah, because that's my home. That's where I'm from.
Respect my home, born and raised.
Sure, that's your home. That's not my home. It's your home. It's your home.
For now.
For now? Are you moving out here?
Absolutely not. I don't want to fire tornado. No way. All right, listen. Let's get into the show. I teased.
Yeah, we got a great show. We got a little bit from all the sports happening. Really, we've got some Acolyte stuff to talk about. We got a new trailer from Marvel to talk about.
It was good too.
Yeah,
stay tuned to find out what that's about.
Yeah, for sure. But we're kicking it off. Let's talk about the Yankees. You know why I might not come back east? You know why I might not come back east? Because the Yankees suck right now, Lee. That's why I might not come back east. First team to 50 wins in baseball, and since then the Yankees have gone 6-16. Poor fundamentals, absolutely no fight, tons of injuries, and Aaron Boone. I need to pull this up. I need to pull this tweet up because this every year when this happens, because it has become an annual thing, the Yankees get off to a hot start.
It is true.
And then at some point collapse and then either limp into the playoffs or don't make the playoffs whatsoever. August 20th, 2022, when the Yankees are in the middle of that season's collapse. Aaron Boone, it's right in front of us. July 15th, 2023, right in the middle of that collapse shortly after the Judge injury. It's all there right in front of us. Lee, yesterday in his press conference, what do you think Aaron Boone said?
We need to work harder and be a better baseball team because we're losing right now, and it's really unacceptable of this organization to have losses like this. And after the hot start we had, we really need to be focused right now and get back on track to the winning ways. No,
that's what a good manager or coach would say. No, Aaron Boone says, it's all there right in front of us. You know what? You're going to be in front of us. Oh, I am so sick of this guy. Every year that since he has been the Yankee manager, everybody's like, oh, but he wins in the regular season. Who cares? He's never won a championship. He has never gotten as far as Joe Girardi did in 2017. Oh, by the way, and also Joe Girardi did win the World Series as manager in 2009. Sorry, Lee, didn't mean to bring that up, but it's the truth.
It's truth, yeah.
Boone has never gotten that close in 6 years. I don't care how many 90-win regular seasons he has. He has never gotten to the mountaintop. Why? Because the team collapses. And sometimes they don't even make the playoffs because the team collapses. Because Aaron Boone is a bad manager. A team that has no fight and has bad fundamentals. Now, look, the roster is rough right now. There's no depth. That's on the general manager. And Brian Cashman should have his freaking egghead cracked open on the pavement too. Honestly. But right now we're talking about Boone. The most likely thing that's going to happen is the manager needs to be fired. The general manager should be fired too. But Hal Steinbrenner's got his pencil so far up his butt that he doesn't know how to do that. The Three Stooges. Go to my Instagram. Go look at this year. The Three Stooges. I photoshopped it. Hal, our owner, is a shell of his father. George spinning in a grave like a rotisserie chicken with the way this team is playing right now. Brian Cashman, I think we're going to be fine. And Aaron Boone, it's right there in front of us. It's right there. Give me one bubble gum. I got two more bubble gum. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. This team is 6-16. This is one of the worst stretches any team has been on in the last several years. Oh, and by the way, the Yankees also have the worst record in extra innings. You know why? You know what it takes to win in extra innings, Lee? Small ball, fundamental baseball. And the Yankees are 1-6 in extra innings this year. 1-6 makes me sick. Sick. Fire Boone. Fire Cashman. Start trading guys. Blow it up this year. Get some money freed up for Soto, sign him in free agency in the end of the season. Because that's the other thing. If you traded 4 young pitchers for a 1-year rental, I will drive myself to Yankee Stadium and I will beat the snot out of Brian Cashman. I know where you work, Cashman. I know where you work.
So that's
it will go down. It will go down as one of the worst trades in Yankee history if they don't re-sign Soto. Hands down. Lee, do you have any questions?
Oh, I love seeing Yankee fans melt down. It brings me immense joy to see the once proud franchise that couldn't lose not have a chance right now. No, look, joking aside, Ray, joking aside, a few things you said that I think stick out. Some of the onus has to be on the players, and you're right that they don't have fight. And I'm totally going to compare them to the Phillies because the Phillies are in a similar situation right now, heavily injured, down, but they're still finding ways to be 500, and they're still finding ways to win.
And that's the thing. If the Yankees were even 500, I mean, 6-16, that's not like a 250. That's a 250 winning percentage.
And that's kind of how the Phillies have looked at it. Now, here's the difference too with the Phillies is that they're going somewhat 500, right? Which is fine for where we're at right now in the standings, right? That's what we need to maintain. The other thing too is that when they lose, they're pissed, and it's obvious. And you can
Yankees
see
aren't
it.
Pissed. There's no fire in that clubhouse.
The Phillies get mad. Like I remember after they lost to the Mets that second game out in London, like that flight home, like they were pissed off. Yeah. Like this team wants it really, really bad.
Yeah, I don't think the Yankees do.
And the Phillies, and I'm not saying this, but the Phillies are the best team in baseball, and I think that's one 100%. Of the contributing factors. All right,
it should be Philadelphia versus Baltimore in the World Series right now.
Well, it's funny when we played Baltimore a few weeks back, it felt like a playoff game, which was kind of weird because we just played Atlanta and it didn't have that feel.
No, so that, Atlanta will get a wild card spot. Mid-season prediction: Phillies win the East, Brewers win the Central, Dodgers win the West. Dodgers out in the first round as usual. The Braves will be a wild card because they won't, even with all their injuries, they're not going to collapse completely. And then I think you're going to see two teams out of the Central. I think the Cardinals, who have a wild card right now, will hold on. And I think either the Cubs or the Pirates or the Reds are going to get super hot. Mm-hmm. And I think the Padres will fall off. Although the Padres right now have that last wild card, but that's what I'm saying right now. That's my wild card prediction, that you're going to get two teams from the Central. None of them are going to do anything, but it's going to be interesting to see. I would love to see the Pirates with that pitching staff, those young guns. The Pirates are close. They're
close. On the right track. It's they just only they can screw it up for themselves.
Sure. Well, that's the thing. Like, what are they going to do to screw it up? And the American League, Baltimore is going to win the East. Because here's the thing. You mentioned 500. If the Yankees, there's 70 games left in the season right now for the Yankees. If the Yankees go 35-35, they will be a 90-win team. That's not good enough to win the division, but that should get them a wild card.
Well, and that's why I'm a little I understand your rant, but I'm also like, look, you're probably going to get a wild card.
There's a lot of baseball left to play. It's just really worrying because this has happened now several years in a row. Yeah. And again, and what was happened is out losing the playoffs, didn't make the playoffs, losing the playoffs, right? Like, so it lose early in the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know if it's panic mode yet. It's a bad run. Now, if this turns into like a 10-25, that
the Mets.
Grimace, you idiots. If that starts to happen, I'd start to be a little bit worried, but look, most likely you're going to be in that wild card spot. I mean, Baltimore is just very consistent. You guys are inconsistent, but you know it, right? If you get hot at the right time. But look, we said this last season, they keep inviting these people back. Boone. And again, like, look, you said, what would you say in a press conference? I understand coaches need to be positive, but there's also a need to be accountable.
Yes.
Right? And I think it's
it feels like there's no accountability right now.
It's okay to say, we're not where we need to be right now, and we're all working hard to find a way to be accountable to that situation and find a way to win baseball games. Not, it's all right. It's all in front of us. Like, that's not a Yankee statement to make.
No.
Okay?
No.
And again, I believe, in my opinion, with all sports and all coaches, I've always had an issue with a coach that, everything's fine. Everything's fine. That's not the message I send to my teams. When things aren't fine, let's talk about it. It's not fine. Yeah. So let's find solutions. That's the positive side.
When you lose 8 of 9 series, things aren't fine.
No.
Right. We had one split in there and you had one win. You went 1-8-1 in your last 10 series.
What was the caliber of teams you were playing?
And that's the thing. Like, some of them, it was a mix, right? We beat the one series we won was against a plus 500 team in Kansas City, but Toronto is one of the worst teams in baseball this year. We split a 4-game series with them.
Right.
The Mets are the Mets. We got swept in the 2-game series with the Mets. The Reds, this was history. The first time since interleague play started that the Yankees were swept at Yankee Stadium by a National League team.
Wow.
Yankees lost all 3 games over 4th of July weekend to Cincinnati, who are a sub 500 team now.
That's an insane stat.
Yeah. A little
that's
sports history there.
Long time.
Yeah, that's 27 years of interleague play. This is the first time the Yankees were ever swept at Yankee Stadium. And look, yeah, they lost the series to the Braves, are good. They lost the series to the Dodgers, are good. They lost to Boston, who have become red hot, and they lost to Baltimore. But if you want to win in the playoffs, you have to beat good teams. Yeah. These are the teams you're going to face in the playoffs.
Well, and again, we'll see, because the Yankees in September could be a very different team than the Yankees in the middle of July.
Oh, for sure. We're 30 days away from the trade deadline. Actually, 20 days away from the trade deadline. 3 weeks exactly from today. Yeah, I mean, look.
I'm looking forward to it. My team's
but I'm being serious. Yeah. Like, if the Yankees keep losing, I would look to be sellers. I don't think Clay Holmes is a legitimate closer.
No,
we need a second baseman. We need a third baseman. We need another pitcher.
Yankees are making the classic Yankee mistake of, we're the Yankees. It's like, no, you're a baseball team. All right. And you got to make good decisions, like George Steinbrenner helped make many of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, it's one of those things. Now, my Phillies taking on the Dodgers next few days. That's going to be an interesting matchup, right? Shohei Ohtani in Philadelphia now through Friday. So I'm looking forward to that series. It's been really fun being able to watch baseball again. Right.
Yeah.
DoorDash Dash of the Week update. So the time has changed a little bit. Now it arrives between 4:37 and 4:47. So now they're harnessing that time period a lot faster than what it was. Jacob is my dasher. He's at Nothing Bundt Cakes waiting to pick up the order, which is supposed to be arriving here in 20 to 30 minutes from right now. So for those of you on the edge of your seats listening to this podcast in the future, I've already eaten these Bundtinis whenever you're listening to this thing, but it hasn't arrived here yet. This is called a fourth wall break and future past travel. I am a time traveling person right now in podcasting. I found a way, Ray. I found a way to make that happen in my real life. And just remember, Ray, your future is whatever you make of it. So make it a good one.
Well, we're trying, buddy. We're trying. Sounds like your future's gonna be a good one though, because you're gonna have those Bundtini cakes. But yeah, the Yankees. Also, speaking of real quick, also finished my mid-season predictions. Cleveland's gonna win the Central.
Yeah.
I don't know who's gonna win the West, because Houston's been red hot lately. Seattle has the lead right now, but their 10-game lead has shrunk to 2 games. I know. I'm
anyone but Houston, please.
Whoever wins the West, there's only gonna be one team that comes out of the West this year. It's gonna be whoever wins that division, because I legitimately believe that between Minnesota, Boston, the Yankees, and Kansas City, those are going to be where your 3 wild cards come from out of those 4 teams. Boston has been on an absolute tear. Playing good fundamental baseball, because Alex Cora is a great manager. He is. Right. I as a Yankee fan, I'm saying how good the Red Sox manager is. They play small ball. They run well. Their fielding could use some work, but they're getting there. They have They have surprisingly good pitching. They believe, and that goes a long way. Kansas City also doing a great job, mix of veterans and young talent led by Bobby Witt Jr. And Minnesota taking advantage of a soft schedule. If any team falls off, actually it could be the Twins, but we'll see. But they're playing good ball right now as well, and the Yankees are not.
Well, let's just talk about a good team real quick, Ray. I just received word that 2 players have been activated for the Phillies tonight. Do you know who they are?
Schwarber and Harper. Let
me explain. And Ray, I know you have a good history of this, but follow me here, because you'll like this. Starting lineup for the Phillies tonight.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber, all-star.
Leading off, left-handed hitter.
All-star.
Yep.
Trey Turner, all-star.
Another all-star at shortstop.
Bryce Harper.
Another all-star at first base. First baseman.
Alec Bohm.
Another all-star at third base.
Then it's Bryson Stott, Nick Castellanos, Brendan Marchand, because JT Realmuto is the only one still out from that lineup.
He's gonna be out until like August, I think.
He'll be out. He'll be back right after the All-Star game. They kind of timed this correctly.
All right, so like 2 or 3 weeks then. So
Johan Rojas with Zach Wheeler, All-Star, pitching tonight.
Yeah.
It's a cool feeling. Right. This is how you felt through the whole late 90s and 2000s. This is so cool.
It's a great feeling, isn't it?
I mean, look, that starting 5. I mean, good luck. I don't care if it's the Dodgers or not. Good luck. And it's not like the bottom half of the lineup is horrible, right?
No.
It's just not the same. But Phillies have 7 All-Stars this year. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So Phillies
I think you guys have the most, right?
We do. And look, of course, they're going to all come crashing down at the postseason, but this team wants it. They lost the World Series, and then they lost to the Diamondbacks last year. They're pissed.
Yeah.
Pissed for greatness, and I love it.
Yes. Yeah, Yankees. I wish the Yankees were mad. I wish the Yankees were pissed. So,
They're
but
not.
yeah, we have a terrible manager who never gets
Right.
mad.
Time.
He loves bubblegum.
The time 4:33 to 4:39. Dasher has
Wow.
the Bundtinis.
He's putting the foot on the gas.
He's earning every bit of that tip.
100%.
Right?
Speaking of managers, though, this is a big deal. Moving from baseball over to hockey. This is a big
Hockey?
deal. Yeah.
Right. No
hockey.
one watches hockey. Come on, right? What do
I
that
don't
was
know.
the
I
most
mean,
watched Stanley Cup history in history.
yeah.
By
Yeah.
far.
I know. So, yes,
beat
game
the
7.
MLB,
Yeah.
beat football. Hockey's
Yep.
back, baby.
Yes, it is. And they also now just broke a huge barrier with the first ever women's NHL assistant coach has been hired. Jessica Campbell, who started her career with the Kraken AHL franchise a couple of years ago, has been promoted to the big league club, the NHL level, and she will be the bench coach for the Kraken next year. This is a big deal. Jessica Campbell, congratulations to her after 2 years in Coachella Valley with the AHL team. 32 years old.
Yep.
Man, what am I doing with my life? No, but congratulations to her. Seriously, that's a big deal. First women's coach in hockey in the NHL. And I think, look, we've talked about this a lot on the show. We're going to start seeing this a lot more. If you can help a team win, who cares if you're a guy, a girl, if you're purple, black, brown, blue, yellow, who cares? People want winning trumps everything.
It does. And I'll tell you this, right? What's cool about this that I think a lot of people don't see is the amount of texts that I got from my female counterparts in the game of how proud they were of this, what this meant to them. And I was really honored actually that they texted me because they know how much I believe in this and that I want this to happen too, right? That, we're allies together. So it's really cool. And I think the coolest part is, again, if you're not a woman, if you're a male hockey fan, you've never had the perspective of a woman coaching, right? But no woman has either. And now that's changed forever.
Yep.
Now women coach professional hockey on the bench. That is the way it is now. I wouldn't say the ceiling has been shattered, but it is cracked and it's coming down.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, the next step will be a head coach, obviously,
and it's going to happen.
She'll prove herself on the bench, and wouldn't be surprised if she ends up breaking that one as well.
The last 3 or 4 years have been, especially this last year, monumental in women's sports and the change that it's occurred, both not just the WNBA, but the PWHL. You have seen women in the front office in baseball in the last few years. Now you're starting to see women on the bench. I'm all for this, Ray. And like you said, I'm just going to reiterate it. I don't care who you are. If you have knowledge and you have the ways to help a team win, I want you on the bench. I want you in the dugout. I want you in the front office, right? And it is so long overdue. And again, in 20, 30 years, we're going to get a lot of eye rolls of like, why didn't that happen before? And it's the same way we look at women voting now. Like, they waited that long for women to vote.
Well, even into civil rights, exactly. It's all that stuff, right? It's
happening now.
Amazing. Although, and it also is in perspective, right? That was only 70 years ago. Women's right to vote only 110 years ago. Like, it feels long ago, but it's also not that long. But it has to happen at some point. And now this is great that this is happening.
Well, and one of the cool things,
and sports in general.
Yeah, look, one of the cool things, and this is one of the things I do love about living here. I'm not saying we're the only country that does this, but it in the grand context of global history, these changes are coming swiftly, not fast enough, but they come swiftly under the way of life that we have here, right? It never seems like it's fast enough, but 100 years ago, 110 years ago, women right to vote. I'm not equating that to women being on the bench, but things are progressing, and that's always a good thing.
Well, yeah, and I think, and to your point, if you look at the grand scope of history, right, the 10,000 years of human history, things are accelerating towards that true equality faster and faster, as it should, right? It's gaining momentum. It's the snowball moving downhill. Now, in the grand scheme of things, you're like, oh, it took this many years. Yes. Yeah. But you look between, like to your point, you look at the gaps. The gaps are getting smaller and smaller between the tides of the steps moving forward.
Let's just say human history is 10,000 years, the speed of change for those first 9,850 years was glacial compared to the
Yes.
last 250 years.
100%.
All right.
100%.
So I always like to look at the macro. It's not good enough. It never will be
Right.
a good enough. I'm saying that
No.
in a positive way.
100%.
But you got to look at both the micro and the macro. And the thing
Yes.
is, change is possible. All right.
Yes.
Where for thousands of years, if you were
Yes.
peasant, that's
More change needs to happen, but you
Yeah.
cannot ignore the fact that change has also already happened and
Right.
will continue to.
If you
do
focus
so.
on just one side of that, the good or the bad, you'll go insane. Like it's not reality, right? The reality is somewhere in the middle of those two things.
Yes.
But I want to
for sure.
congratulate Campbell, hockey
Jessica
name.
Campbell, yes.
I want to congratulate the Kraken for making this decision. They've been a very
Yes.
forward-thinking franchise since
100%.
they
100%.
brought in the league. And I also want to thank the NHL for not allowing this to happen, but the first league outside of the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, for a coach to be on the bench like this. I know the NFL has on the sidelines.
I think the
NBA
San Francisco Giants actually for baseball have had a
Good.
woman coach on the bench as well.
Look, congratulations
So,
to all
yeah,
the sports leagues on.
for sure. I don't.
Right.
Has the NBA had a? I didn't
I
realize.
thought there was an assistant coach, but I might be wrong.
I am fairly certain the San Francisco Giants have had a woman coach. We also actually had, of course, a while ago the St. Louis Cardinals coach on as well. So yeah, you're starting to see it. We've talked before about Kim Ng, who of course was the general manager for the Marlins for a while. We've talked about yeah. So to your point earlier, to wrap this part up, things are happening as well they should. Doesn't matter race, color, creed. If you can help the team win, I'm on board.
Just to confirm, several women have been assistant coaches on NBA teams.
Oh, well, there you go. That's my apologies. Great. That's my ignorance. My apologies.
No. It's okay. Again, depends how you look at it. Like, there's different types of coaches, right? So
for sure.
Anyway,
for sure.
The broad point. This
yes.
is great. This is great for sports. This is great for equality. It's great for women and men. I love it. Yeah. Keep it going.
Yes. Yeah, and sticking with women's sports, that goes into our next topic. We talk about this, our Caitlin Clark watch, almost every week. She's done it again. The first ever rookie to have a triple-double in a game in the WNBA. Fantastic. Her and Angel Reese just continue to impress over and over and over again. I'm really curious to see who's going to be rookie of the year. It's very split. Like if you go online, people are very much 50-50 on who should be rookie of the year. Obviously, two very different players, two different kinds of games. But this is a big deal. Caitlin Clark, the first ever triple-double, as Indiana beat my New York Liberty in a shocking upset, as Indiana continues to hold on to a bottom playoff spot as they try to hold off the Chicago Sky and a couple other teams. So congratulations to Caitlin Clark, continuing to rewrite the record books as we expected, and continue to get eyeballs in the WNBA, which it has needed for a while now, and has been she's been absolutely, her and Angel Reese, absolutely phenomenal to watch.
Ray, so, I had a rare petty moment the other day because of this, because of Caitlin Clark. Ray knows me. I rarely do anything petty, but I did. So we had a person comment on one of our videos from a few months ago when we were talking about Caitlin Reese not being selected for Team USA, which I still think is really stupid. Yeah. But I had said in a video like this one that, look, she's going to be an all-star. And if she's good enough to be an all-star, she should have probably been on that team. And someone wrote back to us, she's not going to be an all-star. She's the rookie, doesn't deserve it, blah, 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 just ripping into me. And I said, sir, when she becomes an all-star, I will come back to this post and share that information. And Ray, I went back to the post and I shared the link to her making the all-star team. How about that?
Is she officially an all-star now?
Yes.
I realize.
100%. And Angel Reese.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not. Yeah. So that makes sense. I need to watch more of the WNBA. I admit that.
Oh, it's fun.
Had the time.
It's fun to watch.
When it's on and I see it, it is fun. The thing is, again, like the NBA, like I'd rather watch the Knicks than anybody. And unfortunately, I have a tough time watching the Liberty because I'm here in LA. And but then of course I saw the one game against Indiana, and Caitlin Clark had the triple-double. So maybe
I'm being told I might have said Caitlin Reese by accident. Caitlin Reese.
You combined Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Reese and Caitlin Clark become Caitlin Reese, who's our producer.
Yes.
Now we talk about the conspiracy theory, Ray, of what's actually happening in the WNBA. Okay.
Yes. For those who don't know, our producer is Caitlin Reese, also called. Her name is Caitlin Reese. So
Caitlin, I'm gonna give Caitlin Reese a Buntini for calling me out on that.
Yes.
Or maybe I can continue my petty streak and not give her a Buntini.
No, give her a Buntini. Come on.
Of course I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Caitlin Clark made the All-Star game. She's an all-star. She should be on Team USA. She says she keeps receipts. I love this young lady. She is like a Michael Jordan. I also love Angel Reese. I love the dynamic between the two of them. I love what they're doing for sport.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's very much lining up to be a Magic Bird kind of dynamic.
Already is. It's awesome. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it is great. It is fantastic.
Great. An update on our DoorDash Dash of the week. The time has been compacted again, 4:38 p.m. to 4:41 p.m. It is 4:31 p.m. Ray. Right now, I am mere minutes away from this cake being in my hands, thus succeeding once again. DoorDash coming through on the Dash of the Week with Nothing But Cakes. It's our official non-sponsor. Continue with the show.
Yes. So moving on now we'll talk about the All-Star game at WNBA. We are moving on now to the Pro Bowl.
You want to talk about the foosball?
Yeah, the football. Yeah, we're getting close, guys. I mean, I'm not watching Hard Knocks because I don't need to watch Hard Knocks to know the Giants suck. Don't get me started. We're gonna have plenty of Ray rants when football season actually starts. But Joe,
no, I won't. I won't have any rants. I mean, like the Eagles are really good. This is great. You know who our best player is, Ray?
Yeah, no, Saquon Barkley, he's not going to stay healthy.
He's not going to stay healthy. So good for us. It's going to be
he's not going to stay healthy.
He's going to stay healthy.
There's no denying how good Saquon is, but he's not going to stay healthy.
He's going to be a Pro Bowler. We're about to talk about the Pro Bowl. He's going to be in that game.
Yeah, because you know why? Because there's still the old rules. That means the Eagles aren't going to the Super Bowl. So
on the old rules. I'm talking about if we're doing Joe Burrow's rules.
If we're doing Joe Burrow's rules, different story. I actually like Joe Burrow's new rules. So people were talking about Joe Burrow with the schedule, but the possible expansion to 18 games. He says, look, I'm all for it, but you have to add a second bye week then. Something that we've talked about ad nauseum here. Shrink the preseason, add a second bye week in the middle of the season. But he added a caveat that you make the second bye week universal for the league. And just like every other sport that has their all-star breaks in the middle of the season, this is when you play the Pro Bowl. And I believe you
want to bring logic into this?
I believe we've pitched. Joe Burrow might be a fan of the show. I believe we've pitched something like this before in the past. Somebody go back over our last 200 episodes and double check for us. But I'm fairly certain that, yes, putting the Pro Bowl in the middle of the season would not only make it relevant, but it would also mean people were more likely to watch it. And yes, it would stink because that means you have basically nothing going on between the Super Bowl and the conference championships, because teams still want that week off as well. But I think that this would be a great way to actually make, especially if you're playing it flag football the way you're playing it now, this would be a great way for guys to not have a very strenuous week, but still be Pro Bowlers. And it would mean that the teams, again, going back to the old rule, you wouldn't have teams exclude players because they're playing in the Super Bowl the next week.
Right, which is always a little weird.
Yes.
I think you're right, Ray. And look, when you look at all the other leagues that have their all-star competitions in the middle of the season, the NFL's attitude is, well, we don't want anybody to get hurt. All right. Well, then just do it like everybody else does and know that there's not going to be extreme contact. It's going to be fun. Right. Yeah. And make it fun, guys. It's 2024. You got every camera manageable. You got drones. You got announcers. You got everything. Make it fun and people will watch. And I'm all about the second bye week. And look, if you're selected as an all-star, it's always an honor. All right. You go and you compete and you have some fun. Maybe it's not in Hawaii. All right.
Right.
And then maybe it's at the same site the Super Bowl is going to be at. Wink, wink.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a good idea. I mean, we'll see what happens. But good on Joe Burrow for basically calling out the league and being like, if you're going to expand the season, this is what you should do. Right. So because it does sound like that is Goodell's mission is to get to an 18 games schedule. That is his soul. That is his prime directive at this moment.
Well, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot more money.
But if you're going to do that, you're going to have that extra bye week. You have.
Well, because it also guarantees an extra home game for every team. So the owners want it. They're all for it. It's going to just be getting the players on board and obviously figuring out the logistics.
Right.
So, speaking of schedules, and this was an interesting thing. First of all, let's talk about quickly Money in the Bank this weekend for WWE.
WWE is introducing. You can see the new wave of storylines being presented to us, which is pretty cool. It's like the post WrestleMania. All right, let's move the narrative along now.
Yes. And speaking of the themes of the women's this week, there was one women's match in this. There was only 5 matches in the pay-per-view or premium live event, as they now called. The women's ladder match absolutely stole the show. The person who won should have won, Tiffany Stratton, like to your point, Lee, new talent, up and coming. That's putting the money in the bank on her, strapping a rocket to her back. I think she's going to go after Bayley, I think, after SummerSlam. So it's going to be relatively quick cash in. I think that's the way to go. She's phenomenal in ring. She's great on the mic. She's a classic heel. She is, and honestly, in the last spot at the end there, if it wasn't going to be Tiffany, it was her versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green, you could have done so much comedy bits with her if she had won, but I understand why. And kudos to her being thrown off the top of the ladder through a pair of tables.
I saw it. Yeah, it's crazy.
The ladies upstaging the men in a lot of ways. I'm going to just say it. Like, the women's match was the best match of the night by far. So again, congrats to the ladies there. And it also made the most sense. And Zavi, our other producer and editor, agreeing here. Make sure to check out his New to Wrestling podcast when you get a chance. Agreeing the women's match was by far the best match. The men's match was okay, if not predictable. I was hoping that Andrade would win because this is a guy who is a phenomenal wrestler. I get not the best in the microphone, but who needs a push. I didn't think they were going to do Carmelo Hayes because he's too young. He's too green. LA Knight is clearly being set up for the for the U.S. title against Logan Paul, who he should win that against SummerSlam. That's my prediction there.
That's a good
Jey
place
Uso,
to put him. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think he should win the U.S. title, and I think he should continue the prestige with that belt. I think that Jey Uso made no sense for him to win it because I think he's going to get sucked into this bloodline
100%.
civil war soon.
Yeah.
And then that leaves Drew McIntyre, who did win and did exactly what he said he was going to do, that he was going to cash in the moment, try to take the belt, and we all knew this was coming. CM Punk then costs him the title. We knew Punk was going to do that because, I mean, look, this was a rivalry that didn't need any more gas in the fire. It only gives us more. As soon as Punk is cleared, that's probably your match at SummerSlam. In fact, it might not be, like, depending on, I don't know. Like, it just felt like a waste of the Money in the Bank for the men. It felt like a waste.
I mean, it was a waste.
Yeah, like it just.
But maybe they want us focusing on the women. Maybe that's why they're doing this. Or look, if they did something that predictable, to me that means something unpredictable is in the works.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of storylines there right now in the works. I'm going to be interested to see, like you said, you have this kind of civil war happening right now, obviously, but you also have the Wyatt Six. I mean, there's a lot of things brewing. There's a 100%. Lot of things brewing right now.
Wyatt Six made another great appearance on Raw. Braun Breaker, even though he lost Money in the Bank, I think Braun Breaker is our future Intercontinental Champion. It just might be they might hold off onto it till SummerSlam now because he absolutely wrecked house last night on Raw, throwing a tantrum. The World Championship match, the big thing everyone was talking about before the cash-in was how Damian Priest did not kick out of the pin attempt. And I love Bully Ray, of course, or aka Bubba Ray Dudley, pointed this out, is that if you look at Damian Priest while he's on the ground in the pin before the referee does not count the 3, Priest is trying to flex his fingers and make a fist. And to Bully's knowledge, to him, that says, because when something goes wrong like that, he's like, look for unusual movement. He's like, either he got concussed or he got a stinger, whatever. When Seth hit the Blue Falcon, when he hit the Falcon Arrow, whatever it's called, he thinks he gave him a stinger, and basically Damian got his bell rung, and that's on the referee. The referee in old WWE, it doesn't matter how it changes the story, you have to call an audible there. You have to count the 3. If he is legitimately knocked out, Seth has to win the title there.
Right.
And that is on the referee. I don't care what the story is. And this isn't the first time this has happened in one of those refs matches. Triple H even said in the post conference, which was amazing, he's going to have a long talk with that referee about what happened. because you have to protect the illusion. I get we're all smarks now, or smart marks. I get that. But even Triple H is like, you have to protect that. If he got his bell rung and he's knocked out, that's happened. But what happened?
Part of the art of wrestling, is adaptability. Like, and we just saw this, with The Rock. We just saw how they transformed a mistake in my mind of trying to have him go for the title.
Yes,
and they turned it into like literally the greatest thing I've ever seen. So WWE's ability to adapt is one of their superpowers. It's what AEW cannot do.
Very rarely. Yeah.
Right. That's why they're failing. So as a referee, you got to go with your gut there. You got to count them out, and they will adapt and they will figure it out.
In my opinion, because this isn't his first offense, I believe the referee should be fired. I really do.
Yeah, look, that's going to be up to management there. Okay, I mean, if not fired, maybe there's a maybe send
suspension,
him down.
something bring him or demotion from big matches.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you would put him down to the up and coming wrestlers, right?
Yeah, move him down to NXT or something, maybe. Yeah, like maybe he needs to go back down there and needs to learn a thing or two.
Like you said, if it's not his first offense, you fire him.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, look, it's not like he sexually harassed somebody, right, Vince? But like. Did I mention the guy I wasn't supposed to mention?
Who is Vince?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, actually, whose name was brought up in the press conference to a certain man named John Cena. They asked John Cena about Vince McMahon.
Yeah, you didn't say his name right. I'm not going to let you do that, Ray.
John Cena!
Okay. It deserves, especially with the news he released, that every time we say his name, he should be given that respect.
Yes, and that leads us to the point where you were making earlier, Lee, about where the storylines may go in the future with WWE, what might happen, what might we go. This is a big deal. John Cena said that 2025 will be his last run in WWE doing competition. He will retire the jorts. You only see him in a suit and tie if he does anything with WWE from going forward. And he basically hinted at that basically as soon as he's done filming the second season of Peacemaker, I almost said Pacemaker, Peacemaker, that he's going to come back for probably about a year, right? And this will be his last year as a wrestler. Oh, is it time?
Right.
Is it Bundtini time?
Right. The time is 4:42 p.m.
Is it Tiffy time or Bundtini time?
And standing in front of me right now is our producer with a huge smile on her face and a very beautiful bag, I must say, crafted for this DoorDashing Dash of the Week experience. Right. Fresh from Nothing Bundt Cakes. The box has arrived.
Make sure, let's see the logo. Let's see the logo. Let's put that logo on camera.
There you go. Nothing.
There we go.
Coming through in the club. Exactly what we said right around the time. I think maybe a little earlier than what I said earlier. The order has been dropped off.
Yeah.
John Cena. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute here, John, because while you're retiring, we're about to begin a career. Ray, not only is this
39:43 was the time.
Beautifully done. Ray, hold on. Wait. The bag is open. And inside, Ray. Inside, we have another beautiful box. Assortment. Now, for those of you listening, I want you to think about your local Dunkin' Donuts. We've all gotten a box from Dunkin' Donuts.
I mean, look, I don't have Nothing Bundt Cakes, but Bundt Cakes near me, so I need to use Dunkin'.
This is not Dunkin' Donuts, is the point I'm trying to make. I'm going to open up the box, Ray. I'm opening up the bucket. Caitlin, don't close your door yet. I got Bundtinis here for the whole office, Ray.
Look at those.
Ray. I don't want to cough.
Look at
there's
those.
One with your name on it, Ray. Literally, I'm going to write your name on one of these. And then
I mean, they won't last.
If you're not here in 3 to 5 days, you'll get really sick when you eat it.
Yeah, we'll have to get new ones when I actually come out there.
I love that. Caitlin, producer Sabi, would you like a Bundtini? The flavors that we have, Ray.
What are the flavors? Yeah.
Red velvet.
Not a fan.
Lemon.
Love that.
Chocolate chip.
Classic. Love it.
And white chocolate raspberry. Ray.
Oh, that's
phenomenal. No matter what. Nothing Bundt Cakes, our official DoorDash Dash of the week.
Not gonna lie, I'm not a red velvet guy, but those others.
What is wrong? Who's not a red velvet guy?
I don't like red velvet. I'm sorry, I'm not a red velvet fan. I don't like red velvet.
Like Velvet Underground?
I mean, Velvet Underground, that's a band. That's different. They're actually very good.
Just trying to find some way to make you say you like red velvet. Anyway, Caitlin, would you like one of these? Caitlin's coming over to grab one. You can have whatever you want.
You can have all the red velvets, Caitlin.
He says you can have a red velvet. Take which one would you want, Ray? I'm going to have her take that one instead. She took the chocolate chip.
That's probably my top choice, but also the white chocolate and raspberry and the lemon also sound very, very good.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the other producer of it. But I buy cake, and the guy's sitting at his desk doing his job. All right, but that's not how it works around Geeks Who Like Sports. He's over here. Here he is.
Look at you passing out the cakes like a 5-year-old at their birthday party at school.
Yes, Ray. Ray, I don't know what I want to take. I think I'm gonna feel a little lemon right now. I'm gonna take a lemon one myself.
Lemon's a good one. That's a strong, solid choice.
Okay, now just to help you segue back, I'm gonna eat this and turn my mic off, and probably go to the side so you can't see me, and
there we go.
It'll allow you to finish the segment.
Yeah, so John Cena announces his retirement at Money in the Bank, then had a press conference announcing what his schedule would look like. He said WrestleMania 41 will be his last WrestleMania, but he will do events after WrestleMania. It sounds like he's going to do about 40, maybe even 50 dates over the next year or so. And he's really excited to help usher in the Netflix era of WWE. And look, the big question is now does he go for title number 17? Is he the one who dethrones Cody? God, I hope so. I'm so sick of Cody. But like, honestly, does he go for the record? I am waiting for heel Randy Orton to come back, and I want to see Orton and Cena drop the belt back and forth a couple of times. And then, because also to me, Cody, I mean, the other match of Money in the Bank, by the way, was not worthy of a main event for a SmackDown, never mind a main event for a pay-per-view. That was the most boring 6-man tag I think I've ever seen, with botch after botch after botch. I mean, Tonga Loa doesn't know how to do a low blow. Like, it was just a disaster. As Lee is enjoying his lemon cake.
I can't hear anything you're saying. This is so good.
No, it's fine. If you just keep eating, I'll just keep ranting.
It's so spongy and good. It's so good. No one does this better than Nothing But Cakes. It says "Bring the joy" on the bag. I'm in heaven right now. And lemon's not even my favorite one. It's just the one that felt right now. Yeah. So spongy. Oh my God. I'm tell them about the Twinkie, Ray.
Tell them about the Twinkie. Oh my goodness. It's not a Twinkie. It's a Bundt cake, but it's a Bundtini. But no, I think Cena. He hinted at being in the Royal Rumble, obviously, which I think would also let him, if he won the Rumble, I think ties him. I know he's won one. Has Cena won? How many has Cena won 2? I'm trying to think.
Producer Savi, he says 2. I didn't even have to ask him.
So I was gonna say he's won 2, correct? Yes. So maybe Cena ties the Stone Cold record and wins a 3rd Rumble. And then goes after Cody and mercifully takes the belt off of him if somebody doesn't do it sooner. Please, somebody take the belt off of Cody. The story is finished. The story is over. End it.
Well, the best metaphor I keep seeing right now is that he should become Homelander.
Yes, or Cody has to turn heel and just fully embrace his Homelander.
He's going to turn heel.
He has to.
Well, The Rock.
He has to.
The Rock left. He left the seeds for that.
That's the thing and that's actually would be interesting to do if Cody turns heel and then Randy stays face and then Randy takes the belt off of Cody. I am so sick of face Cody. He looks like Homelander. He acts like him. He's a whiny beep. And like, I am sick and tired of him with this story. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. The bloodline story is going to a civil war. Cody, drop the belt to Randy already.
Yeah,
please.
Something's going to happen here. We'll see.
Soon.
It'll be interesting across the board.
And Gunther needs to win the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah, Ray, I have a small problem here now.
What? You want to have a second cake?
Well, kind of. It's not that I want to have a second one. They're all next to me, Ray. All of them.
Caitlin Reese.
No, this isn't Caitlin Clark. No.
Get the cakes away from Lee.
What's funny is, my DoorDash account is a shared account with my wife, and I just got a text. Did you get me Nothing But Cake? And I just wrote, yes, I'm bringing them home.
You have to bring, you can't touch them now.
To be fair, that was the plan all along, but she
sure
doesn't listen to this podcast. So bonus. Now, she may have family members that work on this podcast and people that listen to this podcast. I would never say don't tell Jan about this, but this was the idea from the start. People was that
it was no good for Jan. Good on her. Yeah, and you'd be like, look, I had to give one to Caitlin and Zabi because
I was going to bring them. I'm not going to eat all these myself. I mean, it's crazy.
See, that's what I would
2
do.
kids.
But like,
I'll be honest with you. I don't think you could. I don't think you could eat all these in one sitting.
I would have. Well, no, I would be 3 sittings because I had one of each every sitting.
except for the red velvet.
Except for the red velvet. I would give those away because I'm not a red velvet guy.
Do you like Velvet Underground?
It's a band, but yes.
Yeah, okay. I feel like, let's go back to the future. Right. Yeah. I like the pivots WWE took this weekend. Just
overall.
there's something new. Something new is happening.
Yes.
We didn't even talk about Rhea Ripley returned, which was
on Monday
awesome.
Night Raw. Mommy's back. Dom is dead. Mommy's back. Dom is dead. Dom's going to be dead.
But I like where they're going with that too. So
they're doing a really good job here with a lot of different storylines. It's really WWE is at a great time, and also, there's rumors now that they're going to bring Joe Hendry back for NXT. Joe Hendry might win the TNA title, and then if he gets on NXT, that crossover can continue because I believe in Joe Hendry, as does everyone, and as they should. Because he's the hottest thing in wrestling right now that's not WWE, and because AEW is going to die and NWA is going to probably die too, and but go TNA staying alive and kicking and really having a resurgence. But yeah, no, super pumped for what WWE has been doing. Ethan Page is the new NXT champion. All ego Ethan Page. Talk about flipping off AEW, who could never give him a good push. Yeah, honestly, everything with the WWE is clicking on all cylinders, and just like in the height of the Attitude Era, they're doing everything better than their competitors. If their competitor has a good idea, they're taking it and they're doing it better, or they're innovating in their own ways. Great on WWE, fantastic. So super happy.
Right, before we go to the sports segment, just to close out our DoorDash Dash of the week with Nothing But Cakes.
Everybody's very happy with
the reviews are in. I'm going to read the reviews for Nothing But Cakes are in. One, Caitlin Reese, delicious. Xavier Cruz, too good. Lee Elias, spongy and perfect. Nothing But Cakes. Check them out in your local neighborhood or open a franchise if you're inclined. All right, Ray, moving on to the sports section here of the Geeks Who Like Sports podcast.
Yes, the final piece of the sports section. You have a special piece of sports trivia for us.
I do. This is actually real sports, not moving on. We're moving on in the sports section. So, Ray, I'll preface this. I have a little bit of a trivia question here for you, for the audience. We're going to give them time to think about this at home. Okay. I believe this to be a very hard trivia question. And I'm saying that because even if you do not know this or some of it, no shame, because this is a hard one. Okay. But there's two questions and
it's a two-parter.
Well, it's a one question. There's 4 chances to get an answer. Okay. All right. But yes, there's a two-parter. Okay.
What band name is this in Wingdings?
The Velvet Underground.
That's an inside joke.
You sent me that, but I was like, but the answer's on the screen. It says Iron Maiden right there. That was obvious. It was an obvious answer. I wish they hadn't put that on there, but that would have been better. But anyway, Ray. Yeah. I am looking at a list here of the last title each city has won.
Okay.
It includes every city with one of the major 4 teams: hockey, baseball, basketball, football.
Right.
Excluding teams that have never won a title. The 2 questions are, can you tell me which team has the longest drought, meaning they've won a title and have not won one since? There's a little bit of a trick in that one, so you kind of get 2 chances.
Right, because that nullifies Detroit. Unless you're talking NFL championships.
I'm talking the last championship that each city have. So if you're talking in the NFL, it's the Super Bowl era. Okay,
that's what I wanted to know. Okay.
So the 2 questions are this: can you tell me which team has the longest drought from winning their championship? And could you possibly tell me each one in each sport? So you have several chances to get a right answer here.
Okay.
It's not easy though. It's not who you expect in a lot of these.
Okay. So, all right. So Pittsburgh doesn't have a basketball team, so they're off. Again, Detroit's never won a Super Bowl, so they're eliminated.
Good question, right? I mean, I saw this list and I was studying it. Whenever I study a list like this, I'm like, we need to bring this on the show. Because if I think it's geeky enough, you might too. But it's harder than you think.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Phillies won one recently with the Eagles.
Philadelphia.
It's not New York because the Giants won in 2011.
I would give a hint here that
it's not Boston.
None of the cities listed here are
it's not Cleveland.
Huge major cities. Like they're major cities, but they're not top 5, top 6 or anything like that.
Not Cleveland, not Cincinnati. I'm not Dallas.
Nope. It's hard.
Not
This is hard.
LA.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm going through city by city with, again, it's a city with 4 sports teams, right?
Every one of these it's a major 4 sports team. So they may not have all 4 teams in the city, but they have a team from the major 4 sports. Does that make sense?
I think so. It's not Atlanta.
It's not. You are correct. It's not Atlanta.
It's none of the cities in Canada, because only Toronto even has 2 sports. Well, 3 sports.
Okay, now this is where it gets a little dicey.
Okay. Are you going to talk about Canadian football?
No. This is just it's NHL, MLB, NFL.
So are you
NBA?
Well, it still wouldn't be, even if you counted Buffalo as part of Toronto. Well, Buffalo is its own thing. No, so
okay. Listen, the team with the longest drought is a Canadian team in hockey. Okay, but I think that I'm willing to accept if you get the team after them. So do you want me to tell you who that team is?
Sure.
Okay, the 1927 Ottawa Senators won the Stanley Cup.
Okay, but Ottawa only has 1 sports team.
Again, it's just a team within the 4 major sports. They don't have to have all 4 teams in a city.
Okay? Oh, I thought you were talking about teams with 4.
No. So it says every city has it's one of the 4 major sport championships, because there's only all right. Well, so then 4 of them. So let's follow me here. The 1927 Ottawa Senators.
Sure, because they went away. They got contracted, and then came back.
Now the next team on the list, still exists, right? They never went anywhere. They're there,
right? But they had to have had 1 championship.
1 championship. I'm excluding anybody who hasn't won. I can tell you the teams who have never won if you want. I mean, I have
no, that's fine. Those are easier. Yeah. So longest droughts. Okay, this is easier then. Is Cleveland the longest for baseball?
No.
That's always the first one I go to. That's the one
very close.
That's the first one I was going to since that's 1948.
You're very close. All right, from the year standpoint.
From the year standpoint, but the Yankees won everything around there in the late 40s.
Well, okay, hold on. Sorry, you're asking me about the Cleveland Indians. So again, this is the city's last title.
Right.
So you have to look at it like this. So the last title in Cleveland was the Cavs.
Okay, right. So
but it's not the Indians.
Okay, but that's the thing. That's why I would not. I'm super confused with how you're wording this question, man. I really am.
So, again, it's the last title each city won. So this is the last team in the city that has won.
So I never would have said Cleveland because the Cavs.
Exactly. Yes. So let me do it by sport for you. I'll make it a little easier for you. All right.
Okay.
Which is the last? I can't do it. I got to do it by city. Right. There is a team in the Major League Baseball that the last time that city won a championship, it was their baseball team.
Last time. I mean, that's too soon for some of these.
It's not that long ago.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's not close either. This is before we were born. So follow me here. In baseball,
I
can give you the year, but you're gonna figure it out right away.
Right.
So do you want me to do that, or do you want me to just keep going here? Because look,
say the year. This is going way too long.
I'll do it in Jeopardy kind of terms. Okay.
Okay.
This city's last title came in 1989.
Nice. That's Oakland.
The Oakland A's are the last Oakland team to win a championship in Oakland in 1989.
Now Golden State. The Golden State Warriors played in Oakland until a couple of years ago. The Golden State Warriors won their championships in Oakland.
Well, that's not on this list here. It says right here.
Well, that list is wrong.
Hold on. It says the last.
That's what I'm saying. The Golden State Warriors won in Oakland. They just recently moved back to San Francisco.
Okay, well, if you we can go to the other sports too, because believe it or not, the A's are not the oldest one on this list. The oldest one is a basketball team.
Okay. That one I'm not going to get.
The 1977 Portland
Trailblazers.
That was so outside of the Ottawa Senators, Portland is now that's the longest drought for a city. Is Portland.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. But they only have the one sport.
Right. So it's a lot harder to do it. And then the other one, there's a football team here that's somewhat recent. Somewhat recent, meaning the last 20 years. You should be able to get this one. It's the last title the city won. They do not have.
Okay, because it's not Miami because the Heat.
They don't have a
won.
lot of sports in this city.
It's not Miami because the Heat won. Is it is it Indianapolis?
Indianapolis in 2007.
Right. Okay, Super Bowl 41.
The other hockey team would be the 89 Calgary Flames.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Calgary too, but again, they don't have the four sports. The four sports things threw me off.
Yeah, it's okay. You did the best you could. You got mad about it, then you tried to discount it, and I'm saying that these are the Portland Trailblazers to me would be the answer to the questions. I think Ottawa gets mildly disqualified because they
got contracted for half a century.
Right. So the Portland Trailblazers would be the team that has the city with the longest drought.
It's the longest drought. Okay.
And that is the team that won.
Okay. Sure.
We got there.
Yeah. I still discount Oakland because the Golden State Warriors played in Oakland, even though they were called Golden State.
Well, and now here's the deal: they have Golden State, funny enough, listed as San Fran's last championship.
Okay, see that's weird that they. Because I guess if you were to say. Now you count the LA Rams, their championship in St. Louis falls under LA. Like it's just weird. Like,
well, here's the other funny thing: New York's last championship
was the Giants,
2012.
Yeah.
And then just for those of you wondering, the cities with no championships amongst all the major cities with four that have a team in the four major sports: Buffalo never won, Charlotte's never won, Columbus has never won.
Right.
Jacksonville has never won.
Nope.
Memphis has never won. Nashville has never won. They've been close a few times. Oklahoma City never won. Orlando's never won. Sacramento has never, probably will never win. San Diego never has a championship, which is crazy.
No, and now they barely have any team. They have no teams left except for the Padres.
San Jose's never won, and then the other two, Vancouver and Winnipeg, never won.
Yeah. I mean, whenever Vancouver loses, they riot.
Yes.
Terrible.
So beautiful trivia here today. The last title each city won. I thought that was pretty interesting.
No, that is. I guess I got kind of thrown off by the wording of the trivia question.
It is exactly as it's on here, Ray.
I don't know.
If you had some bundt cake, you'd be in a better mood.
Probably. I am hungry, but no. That's the thing is like the Golden State thing threw me off because if they're counting it as San Francisco now because they're back now, they are San Francisco.
The name of the show is Geeks Who Like Sports. You would be weird if you didn't geek out over this a little bit, which you did. Yeah, geek.
Great, awesome. Moving on to the geek section.
Awesome. Wow. You know what happens now.
Yes. Moving on to the geek section. Finally, Star Wars: The Acolyte, Episode 6.
Called it. I called it.
Yeah.
I would like my flowers, please, because I called this.
Yeah, I mean, you called several parts of it for sure. Soul knew that it was May. Nobody was fooled by the old switcheroo, basically, which we kind of assumed.
No, I mean, they gave every hint in the world that he knew it was her.
Yes.
I mean, like, red herrings in those situations is stupid. Like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, no, I liked when Kamir said, "Do it." In terms of putting the helmet, I think it was putting the helmet on when he said that.
Oh, there was a lot of like callback lines that were echoes, I would say.
A lot of this in this episode. And Soul's secret is safe for at least a few more hours. Yeah. I think everything's going to be revealed in episode 7 here.
Those bastards.
There's obviously
a cliffhanger this week.
Another good cliffhanger. They did it at the end of episode 4 as well. That they were basically like, Soul obviously knows a lot more that's going on. The Jedi are now on Soul's trail. Soul knows is on a trail, and he jumped to light speed just before they got there. We also basically, I can't think of her name, the green skin Jedi. Venestra. It's pretty obvious that she was Kamir's master because she showed off her whip lightsaber. It's also, if you look at Kamir's scars, that wasn't a proper lightsaber scar unless it was like a whip. And so I think that's what they're building up. I think everything's going to come together, and you're going to see that, as always, the Jedi order is not as pious and as pure as it claims to be. And I think it's all going to come undone. And I think actually, I wonder if Venestra. I mean, I'm curious. I still think Soul's going to go to the dark side, and that's my call. But there's a lot of stuff, a bigger cover up here than they had let on. And episode 6 was great. A little meandering. It took a little while to get there. I think it kind of I think it took a little while to build up. Little unnecessary dialogue and BS to get to where we are. But OSHA put on the cortosis ore helmet, which, by the way, I also love. We knew it was cortosis ore, but Kamir was basically like very much, this is cortosis ore. Very much appreciated that. Still geeking out over seeing that in action in episode 5.
It was fantastic. And look, she puts the helmet on at the end into a very Darth Vader-esque breathing, which is brilliant stuff. So a few things about this episode, because I'm the Star Wars historian here. Number one, Venestra. So pretty much a hero amongst the comic books that she's in. As a young Jedi, she was a standout. As a young Jedi, she was one of the fastest to become a Jedi Knight. So she's a real hero. I said something by accident there. She's a real hero within the Order. Okay. So her being a liar or turning or doing something wrong would be very out of left field, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't be down for it, Ray.
Yeah.
But her canon in the comics and the books is a very, very good Jedi. She's always had that whip, by the way. That's not something new that they added. So there's people, whip lightsaber now? That's stupid. It's been around for 6-7 years. It's not new.
And the thing is that if you read the books, like we have, folks, like the Legends, they were talked about that some lightsabers actually could have as many as 3 kyber crystals, and you could change the length of them at will. Like, in fact, actually, a lot of Sith Lords loved messing with their sabers in that kind of way.
There's a lot you can do. So some other thoughts too about Venestra. In the first episode, when she brings this to Saul, Saul has a reaction when she mentions OSHA, and she says, "I have underestimated," which is language we've heard before. Your connection to this girl. Right. So there's stuff that's being hinted and foreshadowed that we haven't seen, that we can't see until now. But here's the deal. The Jedi will do everything that they can to cover this up.
100%.
And I believe that is going to be the eventuality of this show, is that this will all be covered up and no one will know about it.
Is that the Sith have already revealed themselves 100 years before Darth Maul, but like here, they're going to cover it up.
Well, I think there's other things too, that they might do things like Venestra can live for a very long time. She has a longer lifespan than Soul. There's a chance they might go to another galaxy. I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities now that they've opened up the Star Wars universe a little bit. But what's going to happen is there will be a massive cover up. Now, prediction.
They've already said don't tell the council when they went on that trip.
And that's why we're not going to see the council, I think, in this show. And if we do, it'll be the very end of the show. Right? This is going to be covered up heavily. Right. Because the lesser Star Wars people are like, he can't know. How does he know about the Sith Lord if he says there's no Sith in the millennia? He has not been involved in this. He was just a cameo for 5 seconds. Right. Mr. Conehead, as I call him.
Kia D. Mundy.
So like people, he said this, so they're wrong. Like, you guys just shut up. You don't know what's happening yet. But here's the thing, is that my prediction right now is that Soul and the other Jedi that were with the witches purposely split up OSHA and May because they're probably going to be too powerful together. Right? So I think what's going to happen is that it's going to come out that they purposely set that fire worse than May did to separate.
They fanned the flames 100%.
They wanted to separate the sisters for a reason, right? Maybe it's balance, maybe it's something else, but I think that that's going to come out. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this show, other than my prediction of everyone will either die or will be hidden, or be sworn to secrecy, which I think would be the lowest form of that. But very interesting. And again, Venestra, clearly, as you said, right, those lightsaber marks on his back, of Kamir's back. I mean, there's a connection there.
100%.
We will see what happens. Keeping in mind too that we assume Kamir is a young man. He may be very old. We do not know how old he is, how young he is. He might have a longer life. So there's a lot of things here we don't know, but exciting cliffhanger. I'm looking forward to the episode today, because it's like, what's going to happen? This show has been great. It's not the greatest thing they've ever done. But I'm enjoying it. I don't know why people are ripping it.
I have some issues with pacing, and I mentioned episode 6 a little
sure.
meandering and whatnot, and I still think they messed
It keeps
up
your
with
attention though.
the
Like you
flashback
don't lose it.
episode being episode 3. There are things I can absolutely nitpick with this, but overall, it has been enjoyable. Yes, very much
Look,
so.
the question is this is how I
The
usually
whole
rank.
twin gimmick bothers me. I talked about the Parent Trap thing last week. Like it just,
Yeah, it was a little lame, but
they've gone a little too. They went a little too far, right? The chanting with the sisters and stuff. It was a little much.
Yeah. Look, here's the deal. I'm still waiting to see the episode as soon as it premieres, right? The way I know if I'm really enjoying a show is I can't wait for it to premiere, and I feel bad when the episode ends because I have to wait a week.
Yeah.
Right. And this show's doing that for me. That's not true of every show that's come out.
No. Again, I didn't finish Andor. I didn't care about Ahsoka. I'm watching this.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm watching this every week as soon as it comes out. Almost as soon as it comes out.
It was the acolyte all along.
Well, well, that was an interesting transition, but yes, it's moving into now. The other big news coming out of Disney and the MCU is they finally released the Agatha All Along trailer. We knew Agatha Harkness was getting her own TV show. Yep. It has been announced the first 2 episodes will drop on September the 18th, and it's basically Agatha finally, as we expected, gets released for the most part from Wanda's spell when Wanda dies. And then it's her quest to regain her witchy powers and start a new coven of witches. And I'm curious, it's got like some huge horror vibes. It's part of the reason why it's going to run from mid-September through Halloween. And again, the question is always going to be, is this going to be a standalone thing? Is this going to influence the larger MCU at all? Is it going to introduce some new characters? A lot of witches were introduced in the trailer or shown off. And I think that this is going to be, again, as we continue the spooky thing. And also, who knows how this follows up after all the multiverse jumping we're going to get in 2 weeks with Logan and Deadpool. So Wolverine and Deadpool. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all starts to tie together, how this all starts to come together. And it's interesting that they're going to release this now, not just for spooky season. I feel like the timing of this is very particular. But who knows? We'll see. Lee, what are your thoughts on the Agatha trailer?
I was really impressed with this trailer. And I'll tell you what, I was not expecting much, right?
Yeah.
But Marvel has kind of said, like, look, we're going to go back to a little more of character development and focusing on not having 12 characters show up in 12 different things all the time, like the Avengers effect, as I like to call it, where we got very spoiled with multiple characters showing up in multiple shows and films. The trailer starts out, I actually at first, Ray, was like, oh no, it's just looking like a prequel. And like, I don't want a prequel. Because it's like a powerless Agatha and she's on the hunt, and it's like, oh, we're gonna find out how she became a witch. And they very quickly turn of like, no, that's not what this is. No, she's stuck. You know exactly where she's left, and she's got to figure this out. I really appreciated that. There was a little bit of a red herring of like kind of letting you know, like, look, we're not screwing around anymore. Like, we messed up. We want to do a good job again. Right. Yeah. So I think that this is not going to go into the larger MCU. I think it's going to be very focused on Agatha. The only connection that raises my eyebrow that I hope they don't use is White Vision. Yeah. Because he's connected to WandaVision, right?
Sure.
But honestly, they got to bring several characters back sooner than later here.
Yes.
Or it was a tremendous waste of time.
You know, right? one couple of things they might do, because they showed off some kind of like some monstrous stuff.
They did, like a demon, like a Mephisto.
No, I don't think we're gonna get Mephisto. They did that. It would be crazy if they did that. But maybe a Werewolf by Night or Man-Thing cameo.
That would be fine with me. I mean, that look, they're building those universes. We knew it. They were building this witch, vampire, werewolf universe. They were building,
and maybe it sets up something for Blade. Although probably not, because that thing is in development hell right now. But
well, look, I'm very interested to see how Wolverine and Deadpool, what it does.
Yes.
Right? Because like they do have the opportunity to do its massive reset. But they also might not go that far, and it might just be a fun film with Wolverine and Deadpool, which would be fun. Yeah. Right. I mean, they're all touring right now anyway. They're over in the East doing all the tours. But I was really impressed with this trailer, Ray. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was better than I thought it was gonna be. It made me laugh a couple times. And I love Agatha Harkness as a character. So look, there hasn't been a great witch show on TV in a while. I mean, you remember when we were in high school and college, there was a lot of like.
Well, you had Buffy and then Angel and Sabrina and all of them. You had all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, well, it was more than that too, right? I can't remember the one with the 3 witches right now.
Oh, Charmed.
Charmed,
and,
yeah.
The CW owned that genre.
they did, but here's the deal. Look, it's like a cyclical pattern. Is that they last for 10 years and then they disappear for about 10 years and then they come back again. And I think we're due for some witches and werewolves and vampires.
Goblins.
And Marvel's got a chance to pull it off. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, 100%. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. September 18th. Here we were wondering what was going to be the next Marvel thing after Wolverine and Deadpool with all the delays and stuff.
Now you know.
Agatha.
It was Agatha all along. Yeah.
Agatha all along. So there we go. Last one, quick fun topic. This was an interesting argument amongst the group that came up during a dinner time a couple of weeks ago. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme song from the 80s, of course, is a classic. But there was a debate over what Raphael is in the theme song.
Let me explain how this came to be, Ray.
Yes, please.
Because this happened in my home. Yes. Friends of the show, we need your help. We are having some problems with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song. I was sitting at my kitchen table the other week, and our producer Caitlin has who's a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, had a mug, a cup of some sort, with several stickers on it. And I looked at one of them, and it was Raphael, and it said, "Crude. He's cool but crude." And I said, "Well, that's not correct. It's cool but rude." In the original song, it says Raphael is cool but rude. And she says, "No, it's crude." And I said, "Well, wait a minute here." Because I've been saying rude since 1989. All right. Yeah. And you're telling me it's crude. So then we got into this full debate of, okay, well, wait a minute. Did they change it to crude at some point? Which would kind of make sense. It's a better root word than rude. He is crude and rude. They're both true. And then we started listening to the song. And here's the problem with listening to the song. If you think crude, you're going to hear crude.
It kind of just blends together.
And if you think rude, you're going to hear rude. So we don't know. And then we got into a debate of, well, back at that time period, the audio quality wasn't as good as it is now. So he might have been saying crude, and we wouldn't know if it was crude or rude. So it comes down to you, the audience, to let us know.
And that too, and rude would have been more for the vernacular of that time than crude.
Very much an 80s thing.
Yeah.
So we have to know, Geeks Who Like Sports audience, is Raphael cool but rude, or is he cool but crude? You must vote. You must choose.
Yes, you must let us know.
And next time we have Kevin Eastman on, the source, as we call him, we're going to ask him because we really 100%. Don't know.
Yeah, no, we're totally confused now.
Yeah.
All we know is that Donatello does machines. That is 100% sure.
Yes.
That is for sure.
And you know, we got a party dude and we got a lead.
Yes. And everything else is set.
Donatello does machines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michelangelo's a party dude.
We know it, but we don't
Raphael's
know. Raphael's
cool but rude.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, obviously, I'm partial to rude because that's what I think it is. But I'm not going to be upset either way. We need to know.
Yeah,
right? The mug is being brought to me. The mug is being brought. This gigantic, stupid Stanley Cup. That's not a Stanley Cup. All right. It says cool but crude, Raphael, party dude Michelangelo, radical rat Splinter. So it's got all the ones. Leo leads. Where's Mikey?
Does machines. Donatello does machines.
Donatello does machines. Now, I will also say this too, that these stickers are clearly newer.
Right.
It's the 80s. Right. It's the 80s.
80s designs, but they're recently
and you can tell because April looks a little different.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very
a little more toned down.
Oh my God, I'm getting all the gifts here today. So here it is. Roomscapes from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Copyright. Man, it's 2023.
Yeah, so that's really new.
Very updated here.
Yeah.
Yes, and if it's rude, producer Caitlin, if it is rude, we have to burn all of these stickers.
100%.
Because they're not real.
They're ripoffs.
It's also made by Nickelodeon, so there's another thing there. Like,
that means that. Well, yeah, and that's the other thing too is Nickelodeon could have changed it when they acquired the rights a decade ago. That's 100% possible.
Source. We should get Kevin Eastman on the show again.
Absolutely, always very generous. We love Kevin Eastman. We're always very.
I also want you to know that these were made in the Ningbo, Zhejiang, China. So there's
that too.
There's that too.
So anyway,
well, thank you for the Stanley Cup. I'll be keeping this. Wait a minute. Yeah, yes, there is a picture here with pizza. I was going to say if that wasn't here, we had to throw this out, but that's okay. Anyway, crude but rude. You let us know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let us know, folks. Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Look it up if you haven't looked that up. You can find that on YouTube. You can see the original song for the show called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, which has a little bit of a different opening.
Yes. But anyway,
Sounds
on that
very
note,
weird, by the way, Ray, when you listen to it, it's very weird to hear the Hero Turtles.
Yeah. Anyway.
On that note, Ray's going to try and finish the show, but Ray, one more time, just because I like cutting you off. Nothing But Cakes today, our DoorDash Dash of the Week sponsor.
Yeah.
Great stuff here, Nothing But Cakes. Fantastic work.
I'm so
Ray,
hungry.
would you like to close the show?
Yes, I would. You can go eat your cake now.
We're gonna do the mashup. The mashup's coming up.
I know. I was gonna say though, like they don't know when we record the mashup.
We're gonna record it right now.
After the show.
And now you know.
And now you know. There it is. We pulled the curtain back. The mighty wizard of Geeks Who Like Sports. So don't look at the old man behind the curtain.
There's no old men here.
There's one in Philadelphia.
My dad is a wonderful human being.
I didn't say anything bad about your dad. I didn't say anything bad about your dad. Your dad is great. Ed is a saint.
Ed is almost 84 years old. He's in tremendous shape. And body.
He should run for president.
He'd be better than both those guys.
Let's not get.
He's younger than both of them too. Trust me.
100%. Ed for president, folks. Ed Elias for president.
I mean, the things he would do would be really funny.
Fix everything, but it would also be very funny.
That's the motto. Elias, fix everything.
Fix everything.
Actually, no. It would be Elias, cool but crude.
There you go. That's how you update. That's how you resonate with the kids today. So anyway, folks, that has been Geeks Who Like. What was that?
So why haven't you closed the show yet? What's going on?
I was about to, and then you cut me off again.
That's my job, man, is to make you smile by being annoying. I'm going to shut up here and go.
Enjoy your cake. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much again for watching this episode of Geeks Who Like Sports or listening, whatever. We appreciate it. As always, like, subscribe, share, comment below. You guys know the deal. We always appreciate it. Before Lee, I'm Ray, and this has been another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. Good night, everybody.
You can have your cake and eat it too.